space exploration is probably humanity's greatest investment. And here why. For decades, we have spent hundreds of billions of dollars exploring space. In modern era, amount of human effort, money, science and technology directed toward the sky. We have built big rockets, machines powerful enough to go out of Earth's gravity, carry humans and technology beyond our planet. We have built satellites and placed thousands of machines in the Earth orbit, constantly watching, measuring, communicating and transmitting informations. We put human beings on the moon. For the first time in the history of life on Earth, a species stepped onto another world. We sent rockets to Mars, millions of kilometers away, and commanded them to explore an alien world from Earth. And we built telescopes so powerful that when they look deep into space, they are effectively looking into the past, observing light that began its journey billions of years ago. But why? Why are we doing all of this? Why spend so much money, time and intelligence exploring space when millions of people on Earth still live in poverty? When people struggle for food, shelter and basic necessities, why look toward another planet? We have wars, disease, economic inequality and billions of people facing problems right here on Earth. So why we search for life on Mars when we are still struggling to improve life on our own planet? It's a fair question. Why spend billions sending machines millions of kilometers away to planets most of us will never visit? If space exploration is nothing more than expensive rockets, flags and photographs of distant rocks, then perhaps it isn't worth it. But that assumption is wrong. But there is one problem with that argument. That assumption is wrong because this history has asked this question before. Centuries ago, humans stood at the edge of oceans, looking toward an unknown horizon. Why sails into dangerous waters? Why risk lives exploring places no one had seen? Later we built railways across enormous continents. They were expensive, difficult and too many peoples unnecessary until railways transformed transportation, trade, cities and entire economies. Then human wanted to fly. For centuries, it sounded ridiculous. Humans didn't have wings. Why waste time building flying machines? And yet today, aviation connects the planet. Then came computers. The earliest computers were enormous, expensive and usually to only a small numbers of scientists and institutions. Imagine telling someone then that one day billions of people would carry computers in their pockets. This pattern repeats throughout history. Even new frontiers look risky. It look expensive and sometimes completely unnecessary because we judge the future using the limitation of the present. But oceans connected civilizations, railways connected economies, flight connected countries, computers connected human knowledge. The things once considered unnecessary eventually transformed civilizations, and they didn't created just one invention. They created new industries, new economies, new professions, new fields of science and possibilities that the original explorers could never have predicted. Human progress has never come from knowing every answers before we begin. It comes from stepping into the unknown and solving problems as we encounter them. And today, our next great frontier is no longer another ocean or another continent. It is space. Space is the environment where humanity is once again began forced to solve problems that have never been solved before. And if space exploration were only about planting flags on distant planets, then yes, it would be difficult to justify. But that's not space exploration does, because while we were trying to reach space, we were also changing life here on Earth. Take GPS. You open your phone, choose a location and instantly know where you are and where to go. That system depends on satellites orbiting above our planet. Weather forecasting. Satellites observe clouds, storms, oceans and atmospheric conditions from space, helping us understand what weather is coming before it reaches to us. Global communications. Signals travel across enormous distance, connecting people, ship, aircraft, governments and communities around the world. Satellite internet is now extending connectivity to places where traditional infrastructure is difficult to build. Remote regions, ships and isolated communities. From space, we can observe our entire planet. We can monitor glaciers, forests, ocean temperatures, air pollution and long-term changes in Earth's climate. Satellites help us track cyclones, floods, fire and droughts. Farmer can use satellite data to study crops, soil and water, helping agriculture become more precise. And the challenges of surviving in space forces engineers to think differently. How do you monitor a human body millions of kilometers from home? How do you build machines capable of operating where humans cannot? How do you process enormous amount of information from satellites and telescopes? These challenges push research in sensors, medical monitoring, robotics, automation and artificial intelligence. A Mars rover cannot simply call a mechanic when something goes wrong. A spacecraft must operate with extraordinary precision. Space forces technology to work under extreme conditions, and when we solve extreme problems, the knowledge doesn't remain in space. It comes back to Earth. Space missions also demand lighter materials, better insulations, efficient energy systems, and technology technologies capable of recycling and purifying limited resources such as water because in space. And then there is a planetary defense. 66 million years ago, an asteroid impact changed life on Earth forever. The dinosaurs had no telescope, no warning system, no spacecraft. Humanity does for the first time in Earth's history. A species can look into space, find a dangerous asteroid, calculate its path, and potentially develop a way to change what happens next. But space exploration gives us something even greater: knowledge. We study distant planets to understand how planets form. We study Mars to understand what happened to its environment. We observe stars to understand how elements are created. We look into deep space to study the early universe. And we search for life beyond Earth to answer perhaps the oldest question humanity has never asked: are we alone? Space exploration doesn't only discover new worlds, it creates new knowledge. And knowledge has always been humanity's most valuable resource. But technology isn't the greatest reason to explore space. The greatest reason is the future of our civilization. Earth is our home, but history reminds us that no planet is guaranteed to remain safe forever. Asteroids, super volcanoes, pandemics, solar storms, climate change. For the first time in history, humanity has the ability to prepare for risks that once would have ended civilizations. Becoming a space-faring civilization isn't about escaping Earth. It's about making sure humanity has a future beyond a single planet. For almost every species that has never existed, one planet was the only chance they had. Humanity may become the first species capable of changing that. So what is the true purpose of space exploration? Not money, not rockets, not prestige, not even Mars. The purpose of exploration has always been the same: to expand what humanity is capable of. Every frontier we have crossed has made civilization stronger. Agriculture allowed us to settle. The oceans connected continents. Flight connected the world. Computer connected minds. Space may one day connected humanity to the solar system. History doesn't remember civilizations that stayed comfortable. It remembers the ones that explored. The greatest investment humanity has ever made was never in gold or oil or technology alone. It was in exploration itself. Because every time we invest in exploring the unknown, we invest in a bigger future of everyone.